Hello, everyone. This is Eric Keith, editor-in-chief of the Quintessential Gentleman, and today we are talking to Mr. Lavae McClinnahan. What's going on, my brother?
What's going on, man?
How you feeling? You all right?
Doing all right, man. We're trying to keep it moving.
Of course, of course. And you are the founder of Montauk, which is a restaurant out in Redondo Beach, right?
Redondo Beach, yep. Redondo Beach, California, yep.
Amazing, amazing. So you're from New Jersey, but you've been in LA since the early 2000s. How did that happen?
Yep. Man, so basically I was a business ambassador, so to speak, for multiple companies, one being Sony Electronics. And I was actually recruited from the East Coast to come to the West Coast. At that time, I was actually in North Carolina. We had migrated down to North Carolina, and but I was still always going up north and back down south, up north, because I loved it north better. It was just part of my blood. And so I was recruited way back early 2000s, was recruited by Sony to come to the West Coast. They actually put me in Vegas first. And when I was in Vegas, I opened up 3 recording studios with a good friend of mine that passed away. He was like an uncle, Tommy DeVito from Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, like the Jersey Boys, the Italians. And opened up the 3 recording studios there. We had one on Arville Street. We had one on Las Vegas Boulevard. We had one on Eastern, which was the bigger one, where we had a lot of great acts that touched the room. Michael Jackson, Gerald and Eddie Laverne. We would have Wayne Newton would come through there. We would have a lot of people come to the spot. And I was coming to the beach here. I was coming to Playa del Rey. And I kept saying, man, cause they had put me in Vegas. I said, man, it's hot out here. I don't want to be out here. And so when I was coming out here for work, and I was working records with EMI Lightyear. I said, man, I like this out here, man. I like this weather. I like the fact that it's not super hot, and so it just grew on me. I was like, okay, this is where I need to be at. So I said, I want to go back east and be here. During that same time, I bought a condo in Maui, and that I got for cheap. And that was another thing that I liked. I said, okay, if I want to get some warm weather, I'd rather go over there than be in Vegas. So eventually, long story short, I was in Playa del Rey. Because of the recording studios, I had already met a lot of celebrities, knew a lot of celebrities. But then when I came here, I started meeting more celebrities, because my role in the entertainment sector transitioned into luxury goods. So I started dealing with like the high-end spirits, like the Macallan. I designed a dinner called the 5-course menu of the evening concept for the Macallan Scotch. And then that transitioned into me doing stuff for the Dalmore and then Pappy Van Winkle. And then I started dealing with like Tiffany's before LVMH bought them out. I was dealing with them. So for the most part, it was just the whole thing was all about me. It was all about me moving. So we got like deliveries coming in and stuff.
Oh, good.
Yeah. We got this food. Is that the Flannery? Oh, thank God. Okay. Got them expensive steaks coming in right now. But luxury goods, that was where it ended. Like we were doing luxury events, like strategic partnership events, direct to consumer events, activations, where I was doing stuff for like, small activations for Disney, like Star Wars stuff. My guys had a watch company called Meister Watches, and I was doing a lot of their activations. They had the ball players, but I always wanted to entertain people. So I was like, man, I like nice stuff. I was always into my whole lifestyle caters around more Ralph Lauren lifestyle, which is my restaurant looks like that.
So yeah, I was going to say I know that Montauk is a place in the Hamptons.
Where I lived, yep.
And then, I know you said the restaurant was inspired by Ralph Lauren.
Yeah, it is inspired. So the one thing about that brand is it's a lifestyle brand. So, you know, and I always talk to their people about this, and people people know the names, the name of their brands, their Polo, their Double RL, but a lot of people, there's not, like, I would say probably from me, my experience with others who talk about the brand, they may know about the brand and the names, but there's probably, out of all the people that know about that brand and the name, probably 60% of them are true lifestyle people that are really attached to that brand lifestyle wise. So when it comes to my inspiration, I'm someone who, my lifestyle, it's like directly connected to my lifestyle, meaning it's all I own. Um, I go to different stores. All of them know me. I have pieces in my collection that the average person wouldn't have or get access to unless they really knew the brand and what they were doing. So when I was building this, because I lived in Montauk for 7 years,
Okay.
when I was building this, everything I was doing, I was thinking about what I like. This is what I want to look like. This is what I want to feel like. I want it to look like you walking into one of the stores. And my friends there who were sourcing the lights and picture frames and stuff, they work at Ralph Lauren. They knew that. So they automatically knew, oh, it's got to look like this. He's not going to touch it. It's not going. But yeah, so it was a huge inspiration for the concept. I think all of my concepts will be like that. I'm opening Nantucket and Long Beach also. Yeah, I'm working on Nantucket right now. I just got the lease locked in 2 days ago. And that particular property will also have a whole Ralph Lauren influence as well.
I love that. So this isn't your first restaurant establishment. You had a sports bar. What
Yeah,
happened? Why did you move from the sports
man,
bar to the elevator?
man, it just wasn't my vibe. It's just not me, man. Like, I was doing it because I just wanted to get in somewhere and be like, okay, let me get in somewhere and see what it's like. But I still, even when I had that, I still never had the opportunity to really um learn the business. It was just more so, look, I got a sports bar, look at me, like, I'm a part of this. And it wasn't just me, I had partners. But I just didn't like it. It was like it wasn't benefiting me. So I was like, man, that's not really my style. I like sophistication and elegance. And, I like fine wines. I mean, that place was beer, and then, they getting hammered at the bar. I'm like, I'm looking for people to be dressed nice, and I want jazz music playing, blah, blah, blah. So coming from, luxury goods, you automatically are thinking, I got to get my own place. But you're thinking, it got to look good. It's got to look like this. It's got to be like this. It's got to feel like this. Or it's not going to be me. I'm not going to be happy with the overall product. And which is what we have here is something I'm happy with and proud of.
Um, what is one lesson that you took away from the sports bar, though, being in the sports bar that helped you with Montauk?
Man, to be honest with you, man, I gotta say it nothing from over there because I never really had the opportunity to learn the cons. Like, um, I would see the pros, but you couldn't see the cons because I wasn't the only operator. The main people that were operating, they were running it in the ground. So it was like, I don't know. So I can't say I did learn that. Not to, not to have a crazy bar. Yeah, what not to do, not to have bikers rolling up, drinking for free, and not focus on just uh uh inexpensive cocktails, inexpensive drinks. And that's kind of a thing here in the South Bay is it's very casual, especially Redondo Beach. And every restaurant is offering some type of special or some type of happy hour, whereas we don't. We are going to eventually add some special stuff, but never like a happy hour. But And we definitely wouldn't call it that because that's just not who we are, you know.
So let's get into the menu. You described the menu as a seafood with a flair and affordable luxury. How do you strike the perfect balance between serving upscale classics, but also maintaining a celebratory and like energetic atmosphere? You know, sometimes it could be, it could get real stuck
Yeah.
in certain places, you know?
Well, the whole thing is our price point isn't super high, like compared to when you go into Beverly Hills. And so we have a reasonable price point. Actually, people are saying we should raise our prices. So my whole concept for affordable luxury was have a really, really nice place, but also the price point be the same as everyone else. But it was like all the aesthetics. When you walk in here, you feel like you're in a whole different world. You don't feel like you in Redondo Beach, Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, or even PV. You feel like you're in New York, Chicago, or you're or in the Hamptons, like more so the Hamptons. That's really what the space was designed for, is to make people feel like they're in a whole different world. So when we say we call it sophisticated coastal dining, and then we counteract that with affordable luxury. It's like, okay, people go into our bathrooms. We got the same, bathrooms here clean all the time, smell good all the time. We made sure we cater to women in the women's bathroom. We do everything we can to cater to the men in the men's bathroom. And we make sure that everything here is like the same experience you would get at the Four Seasons or the Ritz-Carlton, just at a restaurant with a jazz lounge in the back,
Well, we're going to get to the Jazz Lounge. I do have a question. You're at Redondo Beach. That's somewhere that is, very casual, as you shared, but you have a dress code. And initially, the patrons and the community, they wasn't feeling that. How did you navigate that?
Man, we're really still dealing with it. Um, I don't think it's much so the dress code, because what I notice is I see people here, especially women, man, they want to dress up all the time. They go out to these places, they dress up. And then I see when they come here, they're like, oh, who they think they are. They got a dress code thing, like, but you dressed up to go to the other spot, but the nicer spot, you don't want us to tell you that we have a dress code.
What is the
And
dress
so,
code?
man, the dress code is it really, it's not even like crazy. It's what we did was we eliminated some of the key accessories that we knew would bring a crowd in that wouldn't be into what we offer, such as the trucker hats. That's like a big thing. I mean, they were picking on me about that in Miami. I was in Miami. They knew about the Redondo Beach trucker hats. I'm like, what? And the guy was telling me he's from Brazil. And he's telling me, man, you going out here, they got the South Bay uniform, man. They all wear the same stuff. I'm like, wow, that's great. And I didn't even realize that. And then when I came back, I was like, man, he's right. I mean, hell, I was even wearing it. So I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. So, the dress code, we eliminated trucker hats, ball caps, board shorts, flip flops, political attire. What else did we eliminate? I can't remember my own dress code. I made it up. Uh, we eliminated excessive cleavage. We did that too. Sorry, brothers, but I had to do, because some of them are coming here looking crazy, and you got to, we eliminated a few things. We did that on purpose. So we didn't do it to offend people. We
Sure.
did it. We did it because we knew if we keep this vibe, it's going to cause problems later on. So we get thanked for it all the time. And what's crazy is we have a lot of uh, high profile individuals that come here, some law enforcement, political, entertainers. They love it. They love the vibe. They like the fact that we have this dress code, and we're sticking by it. And they tell us to stick by it, don't change it. They love the dress codes, and it separates us from down the street as well. So that's another thing.
You know, what's so interesting is that I've only been in LA for what 8 months now, and I'm coming from New York, and I've noticed that the things that you're saying are commonalities. In New York, you don't see
In New
people
York,
at a particular place dressed any type of way. However, I have noticed here in LA is it's a different ballgame. People are wearing whatever and anything in these places, and it's something I'm just not used to.
yeah, and that's a big thing. And we get when we do get like guests that come here that from New York, they appreciate it automatically because they say, man, in New York, they don't do that. You can't even get in the restaurant. They don't even let you in. And these people here don't understand. It's like, but the thing with here is a lot of the people that live locally here, they don't leave from this area. They don't go to nicer restaurants. They don't go to Santa Monica to somewhere nice. They don't go to Beverly Hills. They don't go, hell, they don't go to New York. They don't go to Chicago. They don't go to, Paris, London. They don't go nowhere. So they brag about it. They say, I never leave my bubble. And I'm thinking like, okay, that's great for you, but that's not everybody's not just leaving the bubble. I mean, we had a guest last night, that, she said, I go to all the, best places. And she was naming some of the places and we're sitting there like, the best places. Like she was ragging on us and we're like, the best. She was dropping some of the names of the places. I was just sitting back like, I'm just agreeing with her. I'm thinking like, then I'm thinking to myself and I'm talking to the staff. I'm like, she said that she going here and this and that. And we're just looking at each other like, okay, like, yeah, yeah, man. But that's what it is. The dress code is the dress code. It's working. It's definitely in place, even for the jazz lounge, because that's also one of the issues they have here with entertainment is a lot of the people here think that entertainment is free because there's so much of it that's free.
So talk to me about what the Den is, which is your jazz lounge.
So the Den is our the first ever jazz lounge here in this territory. Um, Even though the overall concept itself is unique to the area, we've kind of made history here in Redondo Beach with this concept. And the Jazz Lounge was a way for me to provide um, uh, a level of entertainment and music that was different than everything else that was going on in the territory. Um, the territory consists mainly of a lot of places where the bands are cover bands and classic rock cover bands and 80s bands and where they, you to the cover. There's so many of them. There's so many of them. And I said before we opened, I was making it a point as I was doing my promotion. I had to be out there just to get people's attention. So I would say stuff like, no cover bands, and they would go off. They'd be like, boy, who he think he is? And so when I was creating the Den, I said, I told my guys that I don't want any of the cover bands in here. I don't want any of talent in here that's not on the level because I have access to really good talent from myself and my music director, Al Strong. We have a lot of access to talent. And that talent, um, that talent that we wanted to bring to the area, we knew it would bring people out so that they could experience something different, and it's working. I mean, because they flock into the jazz nights, and we've got some great acts playing here. A couple of them we can't say because they're locked in, but we got to sign their contract. But we've had Elijah Fox, we've had Javier Santiago, we've had Al Strong perform for New Year's, we've had Darren Dean, we've had Alexi Lambre. I mean, we've had some really fire talent here, and so the Jazz Lounge is a way for people to come to Montauk. They want to have dinner earlier, and then afterwards they buy a ticket, or before they'll buy a ticket, and they can go into the Jazz Lounge and chill and listen to some like great talent that comes from all over the world. Yeah, so it's pretty dope.
So, Redondo Beach doesn't really have a large demographic of Black residents.
Yep.
But being able to be the first to bring fine dining, that's definitely a heavy weight. I want to know, what does it mean to you as a Black entrepreneur to be able to, kind of move in this space and open doors for other minority business owners?
Well, I guess I would say it's still a battle. It's still a battle based off of how we were treated and still treated by some of the locals. It's still a battle because you know uh, a lot of them don't even like to hear Black owned. I mean, they literally voice that out publicly. They say, "Well, I don't want to hear Black owned. I don't want to hear about Black owned. Why does it have to be Black owned? Why does it have to?" And they go to the other restaurants to say this stuff in front of others. Why does it have to be Black owned? Why can't it just be a restaurant? Because they don't really understand the importance of that. They're not like reading the census reports. They don't read stuff like that. They don't understand uh, uh, the cultural impact in a community when you add uh, uh, a place like Montauk that has all these different uh, cultural assets. Like Montauk is a Native American town, the Montauk Indians, and then I'm me being African American, and then I'm coming here and I'm trying to put something nice here. I mean, they fought the fact that it was nice. So, but were they fighting the fact that it was nice, or were they fighting the fact that it was a Black owner that had something nice? That's what you have to look at is when you want to talk about facts. It's like, hey, all I did was open up a nice place, put a dress code in place, say that you're not going to tear up my bathrooms, you're not going to tear up my floors, you're not going to tear up my bar. And they say, well, why does it have to be Black owned? Because, hey, the other places I'm seeing that aren't, the bathrooms are raggedy and the bathroom smell, and um the music, all the music is high energy, and it's a party. And where I said we're not going to play stuff like that, so we create a playlist that no one else can alter. The staff's not allowed to play any other stuff except outside of the Montauk playlist that we created, which we report all of our data to ASCAP and BMI. And because I come from the music industry, so I realize how important that is in order for us. So instead of trying to get around the system and play, you know, uh, some of the music, like they have these music programs where the restaurant plays stuff where the actual artist isn't singing. It's like a kind of like an off-brand thing, or they're playing repetitive beats over and over and over. I was like, nah, I want to hear Sade up in here. I got to hear Anita Baker up in here. I got to hear my jams. I got to hear Miles Davis. I got to hear John Coltrane. I got to hear Terrace Martin. I got to hear D'Angelo. So I was like, I'd rather pay $1,300 a year to ASCAP and BMI in order for the guests that come here to have a real experience, not just with the food and the jazz lounge, but even when they're dining here and they're in the environment. We get huge compliments from our playlist. They love the music because anywhere else they go, it's thump 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 thump, and they're turning it up loud and they're trying to get people to buy. But that's just not who we are. And if it means that we won't be we won't be packing the place out and having people just ramaging through here and loud, and then so be it, because we're not going to change our concept. We're not going to change. Yeah.
And my last question for you is, what can we look forward to in the future?
Man, we got Montauk opening. We're gonna keep the shows and stuff going here. I mean, I'm sorry, we got Nantucket opening. I'm sorry, I'm talking about Montauk. We got Nantucket opening in Long Beach, um, uh, on the water. That's a full blown jazz supper club. So that one is jazz and food combined, like similar to like a vibrato or a blue note. And we also have uh, we're working on a Charlotte, North Carolina concept called the Fitzgerald as well. So that one is also in development. We're further along on Long Beach because Charlotte, we had some issues with figuring out which property we were going to stick with there. Much bigger space too. But that's it. That and just opening up more jazz supper clubs, man. I'm on the roll, man. I'm trying to grow my hospitality group. Everything's done under my brand, Peninsula Hospitality Concepts. But my focus is growing my hospitality group, providing like great service and great food and great entertainment to guests, and becoming kind of a staple in that space. I got to compete against Blue Note, but hey, they can't be the only ones. But I love
Yeah.
Blue Note though. They're my folks though. They're my folks over there.
Well, that's amazing. I'm super excited. I will be joining out Tuesday. I believe I'll be
You
hanging
coming
out.
Tuesday? Come on,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm excited.
Yeah. I wish you was coming to a show, man. I wish you was
They
coming to a
didn't tell
show.
me. She didn't tell me. She
You-
didn't let me know. Maybe you found
We
what
got
day.
show.
Well,
We
actually,
got on the show. Go ahead.
let me cut off. So, want to thank you so much. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk offline. Thank you so much for listening to our interview today. I appreciate you so much, and everybody, make
For
sure
sure.
you check out Montauk, Redondo Beach, out here on the West Coast. Thank you so much.